A full moon in the sign of Aquarius is coming our way. It's going to be on the 9th of August, 2025, and it is an amazingly powerful lunation. This full light is shining in contact with an asteroid Siwa, which brings us the opportunity to have something break down or break away or complete in our lives so that we can move forward and build something new. We also see the energy of Arachne. Where in your life do you have a talent, a gift, or an ability that you want to express, that you even think is so powerful within you that it can best the gods? It doesn't have to be a career. It's a talent, it's a gift, it's an ability of some kind that you were born with that wants to flourish in the wake of this full moon. I love this full moon in so many ways as well, because Uranus, the break free, breakthrough guy, his very own self, is flowing from the sign of Gemini for the first time in our lives, bringing an electrical lightning bolt strike vibration to this moon. In world events, of course, it can deal a lot with China. China is an Aquarius rising nation. And in fact, we'll take a very brief look at what China's stories may be coming through to connect to this moon on August the 9th. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothy, and we're going to be doing your sign, sun, moon, and rising. And if you're new here and you'd like to subscribe or hit the like button or the notifications bell, I'd love to have you here. The only thing I want to share about me before I talk about you is that Sky Reader is a class I teach once a year for 6 weeks live, and we're coming up to our 6th season here, and it's going to be starting this September 13th. At 6 weeks, we have weekly Q&As, weekly live calls, replays available, content you get to keep forever. The course is yours. You can attend it live, you can miss a few classes, catch up, but you'll always have the content. We have Q&As, as I said. We have also a Discord group that I'm putting together, as well as the regular Facebook version of a group setting for the students. So you can collaborate, meet with other students, and catch my attention if you need my help on something, although I will have some assistants helping me as well. So come check out Sky Reader in the description box below. You'll find the link to the early bird discount waitlist. I don't think I'm going to open the enrollment until after Mercury goes direct around August 9th or 10th, but all said and done, you'll want to get the discount code, and the course description is in the description link below as well, in the description box. I'm not speaking very well today. I'm recording this on August 2nd for an August 3rd drop. There was a huge Schumann resonance spike last night, and I must have gotten 4 hours sleep. So please be kind. If I'm stumbling all over my words, that's what's happened. This is Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology, and I love those minor asteroids and fixed stars. We do have a beautiful star, El Nar, connected to this moon. I'm going to talk about that. We have those asteroids. Not only do we have Siwa, a Slavic mother goddess, it can bring a breaking free and a breaking through what must break down. But we also have 2 other asteroids. Proserpina, the goddess of the underworld, the queen of the underworld, and the consort wife to Pluto. And we also have the asteroid, which means we could speak to things of trauma that we can become empowered from and become powerful despite that. Or also Proserpina can indicate wealth and power. But also we have the asteroid Aesculapius, not Asclepius or Asclepius, Aesculapius. And Aesculapius is about a blunt force trauma death story to do with a spear and a centaur. These stories are all over the sky, including Eclipse in the sign, in a place in the sky that makes me a little bit concerned about world events. And we'll show you what that looks like in a minute. But I'm not spending much time on the world astrology today. I'm not going to be parking all world astrology videos, dedicated content to a Wednesday playlist. So if you're really into the mundane or world astrology, you know where to go. And for the most part, although I make brief comments about world events here, we're going to cover mostly your sign. So stay tuned for that. I did get a few things right recently. I mean, a lot of you follow me because of things like getting the Donald Trump near unaliving attempt correct a couple of weeks before to the date, primarily when he was in harm's way, the death of the Pope and things like that. Biden not running for office and stepping down, whatever. I get a lot of stuff right. I get a lot of stuff wrong, but the astrology is really helpful. Even VP Wallace says Harris's pick I got right last year. But I also recently did a video on my new world astrology playlist at the beginning of July and said there would be a tsunami level earthquake in the month of July. And I didn't think it was limited to July 5th, but anytime by the end of July, we could have something of a high magnitude. An 8.8 magnitude quake did happen in a part of Russia close to Japan. There were tsunami warnings, but I think it turned out pretty well given what could have happened during that time. I'm going to be honest, I still expected another big quake, and I don't think it's Japan. I'm more worried about North America. So we'll talk about that in another video. Also, when it comes to world astrology regarding this moon in Aquarius, all Aquarius new and full moons will impact the rising sign countries and people who are Aquarians. And so this is China's rising sign. And indeed, we're big events with China during lunation cycles connected to Aquarius. So in that regard, I will bring a little bit of the details up right now just for your perusal. There's something called the lunar gestation technique, which you can go back every single 9 months from a full moon. And so the moon is full and it's shining brightly in the sky. And if you go back exactly 9 months, you'll come to November the 8th, 2024, when there was a first quarter moon at exactly the same degree. The degree of this lunation that we're going to experience is 17 degrees. Technically, 16 degrees and 59 minutes. I will say, let's round it up to 17 degrees. So the November 8th moon was around that same degree, 17, 18 degrees. It was a first quarter moon in the sign of Aquarius. And that November the 8th, 2024 moon had several themes to do with China and its economy. In fact, there were major stories at the time to do with how China was dealing with economic matters successfully and how their employment numbers were great. And in essence, that whole November 8th of 24 made China look pretty strong. But it also unveiled a debt package for 1.4 trillion local debt package. And the headlines were about preparing for or getting ready for the Trump tariffs and the Trump situation. So we see a lot of economic news, China's stimulus package, more economic content, and also the whole idea of China being this, superpower in a multipolar world. We're trending in the headlines in November into December of 2024 because China is a part of the BRICS nations, and there's a lot of controversy about how China might want to de-dollarize and move away also from the SWIFT money transfer system used globally and create its own system. So there's disruption of the hegemony or the unipolar world, the United States and its trade dollar and its US dollar being the petrodollar, all that's beginning to look dicey. So headlines around China too in November of 24 connected to those themes. Also, just heading back a bit in time, February the 9th of 2024, right? So way back in the beginning of the year, massive headlines about China's soaring economy. And so I'm going to say that as much as I'd like to look for bad stories like Taiwan, I'm not necessarily seeing them here. It seems to be the major stories connected to the lunar gestation technique is that this full moon is about China and SWIFT and banking and BRICS nations, economy and tariffs. Now, a full moon, a big light like this can be a very powerful spotlight on China regarding the BRICS nations policies. And I wouldn't be surprised if something isn't coming out about China, BRICS nations include Iran, a policy decision regarding whether or not they're going to use the SWIFT currency trading system. That's an example of what might be occurring around the time of the actual moon itself. So a lot of you are bored by this content. Let's go ahead and do your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. I can't tell you for sure what China's up to, but just expect China to blaze across our headlines in some regard, probably economic, hopefully not Taiwan. That will be around February the 9th. I'm sorry, February the 9th, August the 9th, tying back to events connected to China in November 8th, add a couple of weeks of 2024, February 9th of 2024, add a couple of weeks, and you'll see bookends to the stories here. In our own lives, we can also be a diarist, so to speak, and go back to those times of our life and look at the whole sign Aquarius piece of real estate in your natal chart, we have 12 houses, 12 whole signs, and 12 whole houses, one sign, one house. If you're using Placidus, you're missing the opportunity to use very accurate Time Lord tools that give you powerful indications of which planets are impacting your life at any given age, day, month, year. And in order to use those tools, you need to use the ancient tradition of whole sign houses. If you don't know how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, well, come take Sky Reader, but check out my free tutorial in my description box below. As long as you know your birth time, you can do that and find your rising sign and listen from the whole house perspective, because every single YouTube astrologer has to delineate as if we're using the whole sign house system in order to make it one size fits all. Second of all, if you're listening for your sun, you're listening to things to do with your career or your purpose. It's as if it's your soul and your essential core self as well. But when you're listening to the moon sign, it can be about home and home-based matters and how you feel about life, how your mind and emotions are operating. And then finally, if you're listening for your rising sign, it's the simulation avatar. It's who you are in this like strange matrix in terms of the character you chose to incarnate into. So it's how people see you and how you see yourself. But it also tends to be very accurate for life circumstances and changes in our lives. By listening for your rising sign, some of you might find it a lot more accurate than your sun sign. And lastly, I find the older I get, the more I'm like my sun. And I think when I was a child, I was more like my sun. So I have a hypothesis that first 7 years, the Jesuits say, give me a child, I can form a psychopath or a saint. Well, basically, I think that we are the sun into the terms of the first 6-7 years of our life. We act like our sun sign. And then when we become an adult, we take on the character. And then we become older and we come back to the sun sign. That's my theory. So thank you for being so generous with your subscribes lately and your likes. I appreciate that. I've been adding a new feature, adding an oracle pull to all of my astrology. It seems to be very, very well liked. So today, as I do your sun sign, moon sign, and rising, I will also pull an oracle message from the Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle by my dear friend, Renn Barbeau. She was on the Camino pilgrimage with me last year, and she's doing a pilgrimage to the Cotswolds in England this October. And if you're interested in her pilgrimage, I'll put a link in the description box below my video to information to sign up. I think she only has a couple of spots left, but if you want to walk this beautiful part of England in a very kind of shamanic and spiritual inquiry. She is also called the Practical Shaman, and she's a great leader of groups, and I think you'd really enjoy that. And let's get started and talk about your sign. We're going to start, as always, with Aries. Before we do that, I'll just show you the sky so you can look at the lay of the land. Now, remember how I mentioned before I talk about the sky, how Siwa, S-I-W-A, asteroid number 140, was connected to the sun. It's pretty well perfectly conjunct the sun, maybe a half a degree off or a degree off. And it's not on the moon, it's on the sun. But why do we care that Siwa is on the sun and Proserpina is on the sun and that and the Ascalaphus is on the sun? Why do we care? Because the moon reflects the light of the sun. That's why it's full. So it reflects into our heavens, into the Aquarius part of our sky, the themes of those asteroids that are with the sun. It's an archetypal reflecting story. And the Slavic mother goddess is a protector of women's work and their destiny. So this is a very strong full moon for females. And her name comes from the word Ziva, meaning alive and living. So it is an asteroid I really like because it's really about a process of breaking down or breaking through something that can lead to major insights. And it can end fixed beliefs in places where you're stuck. There can be a kind of crisis of death and rebirth or regeneration that comes off the light of this Slavic goddess, Siwa. And so something must sometimes break down to give way for something better. But that's what Uranus is also all about. Quite often, he is Mr. Breakdown, Breakthrough, Break Free. And he's also connected to the story. So I will probably title this asteroid, this full moon, something to do with like breaking down, breaking free, or breaking through energy. And I bet you it's going to be missed by a lot of astrologers. It's not the most obvious part of the story, but I think it is a very powerful part of the story. We're back in February of 24. There you're going to see that on the 9th of February, the day after, there is a moon over here around 20 degrees of Aquarius, and it would have been a 21 degrees of Aquarius 20. It would have been the February new moon that then 9 months later would have given rise to the November the 8th, first quarter moon. And those stories are connected to this moon in this particular technique. If you keep a diary or you want to go look at your life, Can try to connect February of 24, November of 24 to what is coming to fulfillment on this lunation. You can also go back 6 months earlier to the new moon at the beginning of this year in the sign of Aquarius. And also perhaps you would have seeded something that could come to fulfillment or completion now. Now, this is a busy sky. I'm not going to talk too long about it, but I will just show you a few things. Now, you'll notice that the moon itself, well, I have to come to the now. I apologize. Let's go back 9 months and 9 months. Watch how cool this is. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh-oh. 9. I went back 9 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, guys. Let's go back 9 months. I just want you to see how the moon is connecting at the same degrees, kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the November 8th, 2024. Oh, forget it. Just forget it. Just forget it. Because I kept skipping all over the place, I can't calibrate it again. Let's just go straight to our August the 9th moon and just trust me on the formula I gave you. 9 months back, 9 months back. Like baby making. All right. So on the 9th of the month of August, there is a full lunation, and it is going to happen in the sign of Aquarius. It will not be at 9 degrees, not at all. It will be at 16 degrees and 59 minutes. Just trust me on that. That adds up to a 21, which is the world card in the tarot. Although the 16th degree can be about shocks, tower, electrical strikes, lightning bolts of shock and awe as well. But the world suggests a powerful, positive meaning for that, a kind of fulfillment, a completion of some sort. 21 is the end of a cycle and the tarot of the major arcana of the tarot. Now, the thing about this moon that will actually happen at, as I mentioned, closer to the 19th degree, the 16th degree. I'll try to get it there for you. And a day ahead, August 9th. Now I'm too far into the story. This is what happens with not enough sleep. Kindness is a virtue. I am a little out of it today. Okay, so I'm just going to say 17, 16 degrees and 59 minutes, but it's an interesting one because there is a Sabian symbol for 16 degrees and it rounds up like the Sabian symbol of 16 degrees and 59 minutes rounds up to the 17th degree, a watchdog standing guard. But if I was to take this as a moon at 17 degrees, the 18th degree, which is a Sabian symbol that would be appropriate, is a man unmasked. And the analysis of this is about revelations, clarifications, and disclosures, and uncovering the truth and seeing what's unveiling the truth and what's hidden beneath. I kind of feel more like this is really a 17-degree story. So look for major disclosures in world events connected to politics, geopolitics, and more. Yes, disclosures connected to Leo and Aquarius. Leo rising Iran, Leo rising Trump, Leo rising JD Vance. Okay, those stories might be highlighted for disclosures coming through the house of open enemies. So who's Trump's open enemies? Who wants to disclose things about Trump? Who's got a thing against Trump? Or who are Iran's open enemies? And where will those disclosures come from? Well, the open enemy of Iran at this point is mostly Israel. Okay, so let's go ahead and do your sign. And I wanted to just point to you the asteroids so you can see them, and then we'll do a sign going forward. This is the asteroid here, next to the sun at 17 degrees of Proserpina, the goddess of the underworld. Think feminine power, empowerment, rising above trauma, and prosperity and wealth and power. This asteroid here is Siwa. I already described her to you in the intro, but you can think about a place of breaking free and breaking down and breaking through. And finally, this asteroid is Aesculapius. Now, Aesculapius is not Asclepius or Asclepius, and people have tried to correct me on the past. It's asteroid number 4946. It's a son of Aries, the king of the Mayans, and one of the Argonauts, killed by a spear during a Trojan War. And so this is about whistleblowing in the software story also. I think a part of his peril was he was blowing the whistle, revealing inconvenient truths, spying, eavesdropping, etc. So he wanted to make it simple. We can say it's the peril that whistleblowers face, right, when they blow whistles about things that are happening. And definitely there's a possibility, given this kind of a lineup, of whistleblowing information coming out regarding the Leo people and the Aquarian people. China, Iran are two nations along these lines, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about your sign. We're going to start with Aries. Where I'm going to focus is simple. I'm not talking about the kite. Why? Yes, Saturn rules the kite and is a lunation lord. That's the world event story. On Monday, my kite video comes out for the week ahead and for your sign and for some world events. So watch Monday's video. I have an interview with Dan Waits of World Astrology Report coming out Wednesday, but also embedded in Monday's video, talking about the kite and situations with Iran, with Israel, with USA, with nuclear weapons to do with anything to do with the word nuclear. Those will be heavy on the celestial culture and geopolitical front sometime building up towards this moon, because this kite is active August the 6th through to about the 12th, and it's held by a imbalanced Mars, okay? Imbalanced Mars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do your sign, but tell you that if you watch tomorrow's video, you'll have the kite story. So it might even be easier just to take the kite out, but I'll leave it there for your perusal. Okay, so let's start with Aries and let's move through your sign, knowing you're going to get a little oracle guidance from the Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. A little bit of navigational guidance for you. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's start with you. Well, first of all, yeah, what a kite, and it's hitting you directly, right? So that's why tomorrow's video, Monday, coming out describing what this kite could be about and how to use this kite is available for you on Monday. Depends on when you're watching this video. This is coming out on Sunday, August 3rd, and Monday's video, August 4th, is available for you to go back and watch. I'll try to remember to link it in my description box. That kite aside, the main story of the lunation is it's got a big full light in your 11th house. And the 11th house is about things that you wish and desire to achieve in life. It's kind of like your wish fulfillment house, and it's your long range planning house and your strategic goals, your bucket list, etc. Now, full moons can reveal what things that you really desire to create in your life that you weren't even consciously aware of. And it may connect you in some ways to dreaming a new dream for your life of what you want to create in a wishful way, from a new moon that happened back in February of 2024 and a quarter moon turning point in November of 2024, for those of you who keep track of those things. However, energetically, a full moon with Pluto is pretty damn powerful. And it's trining Uranus, and Uranus is breaking down, breaking free, and breaking through something electrical, something shocking, something exciting and surprising. The moon is about, revealing what you could not see. And because it's reflecting backwards, to like from the 5th house, it is something to do with abilities, to do with talents and gifts that you were born with, your original medicine, the way you have just were born knowing how to whatever, write, sing, dance, born a math genius. What are your natural gifts in this life? Because that's a lot of what the 5th house can entertain. And because the moon is fulfilling it in the 11th, you could say there's a calling here from this moon over the next 2 weeks and further out 6 months to fulfill your talents in the world in a way that brings great success, fulfillment of goals and dreams, and greater career gains. For influence and gains in one's career belong to the 11th house. And you could be powerful and prosperous Proserpina. There's no reason why you shouldn't. Now, I don't think you're going to have a whistleblower effect here. So let's leave the whistleblower out. That's more to me of a world story, especially with Mercury there. Whistleblowing will be a big theme of this moon, reflecting the sky, but I don't think it's our personal stories. One other thing to note is that we have a beautiful trine to this asteroid Arachne. And Arachne is about the gifts that you are here to express, reflected in the public. Yes, what natural talents and gifts do you want to put into the audience, the marketplace, the client sphere of your life? That is the 7th house. Yes, you could talk about romantic love too, but I mean, most of us do share our natural talents or gifts that could best the gods with the people closest to us. So, I'm not sure I want to say that that's the whole point, to tell your partner, hey, look at my great painting, Another feature of the 5th house is entrepreneurship. And certainly if you are entrepreneurial or artistic or muse inspired, there's a prosperity glow up over the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow this moon that allows for some sort of success story. If you look at Saturn ruling that moon, he is in your sign. So he's going to do his best by you. Well, he is also entangled in the kite, right? Pluto can be wealth, Pluto can be power in your career gains. Don't think of it a full moon as about the day of. Think about it as showing you what it's likely about within a couple of weeks of the moon, but then taking up to 6 months to unfold it so that you get the full expression and experience of what it offers you. I'm going to take now a card for you from the Windwalker's Oracle deck. I think I might need a nap today. I didn't get enough sleep. Even a bad hair day. Let's go ahead and do the Windwalker's Oracle. I'm always so ambitious that I can get 1,000 things done, and I don't think today's one of them. Okay, so you've got headwind, obstacles, right? And that's natural. Like life has wind. It's that kite that's blowing right at you watch Monday, the video on Monday, the 4th of Monday, weekly astrology on the 4th of August for the kite story. Headwinds, obstacles, opposing winds slow your journey. Now, opposing winds slowing our journey can be to our benefit. We don't always need to go head first full on, right? Sometimes being slow has a gift in it. Like I always think about, Ganesha putting the obstacle in my way when I need to be detoured, and so that I'm not rushing headlong into something that may not be the best path for me. With the kite having Saturn and Aries in fall, or debility in Aries, right? This is a deed where you could want to rush forward and then later on look back and go, darn it, I was too impetuous or whatever. I wasn't thinking. So I'm looking for this card in her book, and I'm just trying to find the headwind category, because I haven't actually used this book in divination for you guys before, and I have to locate it in the book. Oh, the way Renee describes this is that something is opposing your forward movement and giving you resistance and slowing you down. So when this happens, you can face your opposing winds, yes, but it's not a sign of failure. It's an invitation to gain clarity and to persist and adjust your pace. Tell an Aries to adjust their pace. Good luck. Adjust your pace, reassess your strategies, and take a moment to recalibrate your direction. And things may feel slow and requires effort to push through the obstacles, but when the headwinds arise, look for ways to conserve energy and align yourself with your core intentions. There's valuable lessons when these headwinds come. So it's not just to make things slow down, it's to have you go deeper and really see what it is you're aiming for. And to me, is what you're aiming for in alignment with your natural talents and gifts? Is it something that you can and will develop and present to the public? Is it something that can and will, that you're aiming for, produce greater wealth, power, and increase your success in your career gains? Those are stories that this whole story wants for you in the next 2 weeks. So really look closely and don't get frustrated by the winds that are blowing against you as you're persisting in some direction. Take some time to reassess if needed. We're going to move now to the next sign. All right, headwinds, darn it. But I can see that. I already feel like I'm in headwinds. I have an Aries sun and moon, guys, so I'm kind of relating. But remember, it's not the worst thing in the world to have headwinds. That's what I was trying to get at. It could slow you down, like for a good reason. All righty, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's go to the basics of the sky. First of all, we have this full moon in lighting up your sky big time here in Aquarius. And that's one whole sign chunk of your real estate in the chart, which is your career space. Now, I love a full moon in the career space because it often is very much about fulfillment or completion of some career path that may be like needing a shift, whether it's a shift to a raise or a promotion, a new division, or maybe even for some people, sometimes an ending. If you go to the word career and fulfillment of career, take a little gander back to like February of 2024 and November of 2024. You may have had turning points in career matters at those times, new and quarter moon, but all said and done, that fulfillment energy can be also becoming spotlighted, a raise, a promotion, the boss loves you. It's not a bad energy. Pluto up there brings you more power. The moon is on the 9th of August. It can show you what it's got in store in the career space over the 2 weeks that follow. In your career space, with the trine to Arachne, is there a gift, an ability, or a talent you naturally come by? Like, God forbid you put me in a job where I have to be organized and detailed. I'm not either of those things really. So if you're naturally detailed, naturally organized, naturally good with customer service, naturally good with interfacing with people, naturally good at salesmanship, whatever, naturally good at anything, what are the talents that you naturally have, the gifts that you're born with that are just an extension of the person you are? Because that is what Arachne might want you to focus on with Mars in the career space. There is a huge kite in the career space, and it activates the work house as well and the career space house. So you're going to definitely want to look and listen to Monday's video that focuses on this week ahead and the kite for your sign, which will be out on Monday, August the 4th, because this moon is complicatedly in that kite in a way. But I want to keep the moon simple. It's an easier story than the kite. The moon is also going to reflect the light of Proserpina in the fourth house. This is your childhood. This is where you might have had some abductive traumas, where you felt like you got lost innocence, but you can rise to also the queen of heaven, queen of the underworld, and a sense of power and empowerment and wealth. And wealth that comes from the fourth house, especially with Pluto in the 10th house, comes from legacy wealth, from parents, particularly in this chart, father figures. So uncles, grandparents, elderly father figures, and fathers in your family may bequeath some wealth your way. That's not impossible in this kind of a full moon. It indeed is quite a story that could happen for some of you. The other energy, Taurus, is that you have the energy here of something connected to wanting to let an old way go. Remember Siwa, she's right with this moon because being reflected by the moon, it's with the sun. Something that you need to let go of, to regenerate and rebirth yourself. And it could be a home. Some of you here must release or surrender a place you live. And with Mars in the sixth house, slicing through the rental properties as well, it could even to be let go of a property that you rent. Although in the 6 months that follow, you may regenerate and rebirth a new home through a new rental property. But I can see losing, changing, releasing the home as well as one of the narratives that's functionally in the sky. And in the 2 weeks that follow this full moon and in the 6 months that follow, look for some strong possibilities of renewal and regeneration through letting go of one home and beginning to move toward a new or different home. Finally, I do think that the excitement that Uranus brings in the earnings house can't be underestimated. There's a lightning strike of earnings, possessions, money, and resources capably coming your way in surprising ways, but it may have to do with a surprising turning around of career directions as well. The other one is a surprising financial breakthrough connected to land, home, property, real estate. But if it's not that, then it also trines that moon. And Uranus in a whole sign trine to the moon is like, okay, financial surprises connected to work and career matters that look like an increase of financial wealth in your story. The kite has its own thing to say. You'll have to let go of some bad habits, some addictions, and some sabotaging strategies in order to be successful. But it looks like success is coming your way. Please go watch the kite video on August the 4th, Monday. Let's pull out, and if you are willing to listen to the cards, what is going on. So I'm not going to lie, you have the card lost. Not every card in the deck is going to be cheerful, right? The helm, which is the steering wheel of a person's life. Unpredictable force of nature, and it has the word loss. Now, it also looks like the Tower card in the tarot, and this is a moon at 16 degrees, which is the card of the tarot. Tower card. And we see a lot of electrical current with Uranus. So something has to be released or let go of. You have to lose something or to get something. That's my simple delineation for that. That makes sense to me. But of course, we don't always want to do that. We cling to what we have. Most of us do. We're just creatures of habit, right? I am. So let me see what could be let go of in order for a new life to begin. Because Siwa says, let go of the old to build something new, understanding something has come to its end point. Okay, so I'm going to find the card without pausing my video this time. I did last time. I probably forgot to start the recording again, for goodness gracious. Let's get this card in here. The name of the god is Well, I'm not going to give her an A plus for finding the card in the deck because they're ordered but in different sections. Give me a sec. The helm is a wind spirit from Cumbria, UK, and it represents destruction and unexpected upheaval. This powerful northeasterly wind sweeps across the slopes of a place called Crossfell. So basically, the helm's presence signals unforeseen events may soon disrupt your plans. While unsettling, this wind clears away outdated structures and beliefs, making room for fresh insights. Trust in the process and embrace the unexpected as a catalyst for newfound clarity and direction. So something could happen that you don't expect here. It can be feeling a little bit like, holy man, what a surprise. But I don't think that's surprising either, given Uranus, the god of the unexpected, is in your second house, is hooked up to that kite, and is talking to that moon as well. So I think there's unexpected developments regarding career, land, property, real estate, possessions, and prosperity. And some of it may feel a little disruptive, but ultimately, I think things move for you in the direction where you're meant to be, because I am the kind of person that believes everything happens for a reason. Let's move on to the next sign, shall we? And I'm getting one of those hunger attacks in the middle of a recording. So let's see if I can get through to Libra before I have a snack. And we're going to put the chart up. I can't see it. Moving into the next story. It is me. I have a progressed Gemini sun. Progressed planets are not as powerful as your natal chart, but they're extra layers of important meaning. So, Gemini sun, moon, rising people, to see this kite is important. I mean, I can't ignore the kite, but that's why you're going to watch Monday's video, because I can't do kite and moon in this one video. It's too long. Tomorrow's video on the 4th of the month will have a deep dive delineation of the kite in the sky. And it's a rare kite, guys, 26 years rare for the backbone of Saturn, Mars. So we'll go watch the kite story. In the meantime, let's talk about the moon. Only the moon is full, it's bright, and it's big. It's in your 6th house, in your 9th house. There may be things that happened 6 months ago when we had a new moon in Aquarius. You planted a seed in the house of God. But you could go back as far as November 8th, 2024, or November of 24. And before that, February of 2024, for lunar gestation seeds on that 9-month cycle, that you planted a seed in February 2024. It kind of grew into something a little bit more important in November of 24. And here we are, August of 25. What is it that you are actually creating here? What is the story of fulfillment in the house of publications, book publishing, pilgrimages? Can't make this stuff up. I went on a pilgrimage last year. The new moon, February 9th, got me invited to a pilgrimage within a month afterward. And off I was to the El Camino. So you could find yourself seeding, right? Change around travel, pilgrimages, spiritual belief, philosophy, churches, religions, synagogues, higher education, book publishing, publications. The November 8th seed for me as a Gemini progressed sun was I started my Substack publication, my magazine over there. So you get the exact examples for me of how this played out for my progressed sun. Remember, sun is career, moon is home life, and rising sign is anything about you. So I don't know what to say about this exactly, but Dharma is ringing a bell. Dharma means you're kind of aligning with a meaning and purpose for life that you were born to, encounter. You're in a connection to your gifts and talents you're here to express. Very dharmic energy, houses 9 and 5 and 1, where all this energy of air is flowing. And you can see that the asteroid Arachne here is in the house of the natural gifts and talents with which you were born. So there's a real pull from the sky to use those talents, to use those gifts, those natural abilities, your natural born intelligence in order to succeed at fulfilling a 9th house mandate. For me, I've got a book proposal to write for my editor on an astrology book. Honestly, that would be the best thing for me to do. And I could have some breakthrough insights or ideas with Uranus in my 1st house regarding what I want to write and what I want to create. Or, the other thing you could do is go on a massive journey somewhere in a far off distant land, have a big adventure, maybe a pilgrimage, fulfilling some other story from a fulfillment moon. One other idea is, what about the reflections? Reflecting prosperity, power, triumph after times of, trauma when it comes to third house things, trauma around siblings, around travel, around friends and neighbors, travel around creative and writing and marketing and selling issues. Anyway, and now you can prevail with power and prosperity. What about the energy of Siwa? I love that because she's like, okay, she's a feminine deity for women, and she's going to definitely want to help us tear down the old in order to build something new, right? There's this kind of break it down to build something new up. So what might you have to break down? Well, even though Siwa is in the third house, like break down your writing projects, break down your social media stories, break down your, writing, teaching, communicating stories, break down and tear apart your neighborhood. I just moved to a new neighborhood. It's so noisy. I don't think I'm staying, but probably I will last at least the year of the lease. And it's being reflected in the ninth house of foreign land. So, example, I'll spend more time abroad to get away from the noisy apartment that I'm renting until my lease is up. That would make a lot of sense to me. It's reflecting a huge amount of prosperity as well. Pluto is in the ninth house with the moon, and Pluto is wealth and power. So wealth and power through publications, teaching, writing, learning, communicating, wandering the world, going back to school, becoming a teacher, or getting taught. These are power stories for you in the 2 weeks that follow and the 6 months that follow this moon. Now we're going to go ahead and do the rest of you. That's 9 more signs, but I'm going to take a little snack break. All right, guys, let's keep going. I just had a little break. Food is the sustenance of reality. I just had some leftover pizza. All right. A lot of you know that I am gluten-free. So I found a really good brand called Oggis, Oggis. I think it's Canadian. And my God, they make the best crusts. Okay. I will talk about Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Did I draw a card for the Geminis? Oh my God. Let me think about that. Hang on. Because I just took a break. Never take a break when you're doing these things. You'll forget what you've done. I'm going to pause and I'm going to remember. I don't think I drew a card for you guys. Oh my, I can't see that I did because I remembered the last two. So here we go. Sorry about that. Fellow Geminis, I'm a progressed sun. Let's take a look at it. Headwind. No, I mean, wind for you. The wind for you, connected to the full moon, connected to the next couple of weeks, is the south trade winds, Tuyana. It's also called Guardian. Guide your underworld journey, and it's a directional wind. So there's certain forces, northeast, southwest, all that. This is one of the major winds that gives you a direction. It's a south wind. It could be literal. It's the time to go south, but it's about your underworld journey. Let's take a look at the meaning of that card in the deck, and we'll see what we get for this particular wind. Well, it looks pretty intense too, with all the snakes around a pillar. And we're going to go for Guardian. All right, Guardian, what do you need to do here? These are directional winds, and I will find it. Is it a directional wind? Yeah. Or disruption. Guardian. Okay. Toyuna, guardian of the south trade winds, represents transformation through upheaval, and in Venezuelan mythology brings thunderstorms and cleansing rains that renew the land. Again, Uranus is in Gemini, and Uranus will disrupt, break free, break through, break down what is needed. So that doesn't surprise me. When his tempestuous energy surrounds you, embrace inevitable change. His winds clear away your old patterns, making space for new growth and new opportunities. This energy encourages you to release what no longer serves you. Trust the process, knowing that renewal follows every storm. Reflect on areas you feel stagnant in and allow these winds to help you release your burdens, embrace chaos. Let the storms of life guide you towards new clarity and new beginnings. Well, let me remind you that Uranus is in an air trine, a beautiful energy, to the actual fifth house of good fortune. So I don't want you to be afraid of that, because it could also be unexpected good fortune. For the good fortune of your fifth house could actually be winning money, for example. So financial fortune. So just know something's like a pattern interrupt here, a breaking of a pattern. But in a Dharma house alignment of houses 1, 5, and 9, in a trine energy, between the energies of Gemini and Libra and Aquarius, this is exciting. I don't think you should be worried about this disruption, just to say that. She talks to her own Gemini sun and reassures herself that all is well in the world. These are cards I'm drawing to be about things that occur in about the 2 to 3 weeks maximum after the actual moon, when things begin to unfold to show you what the moon is about. Now, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. I am recording. You're looking at this energy. First of all, you got Venus and Jupiter in your sign. This is so blessed. My video already came out about that. I'm going to put another one out closer to August 12th when it's exact, but it's a cycle that takes a year to complete. Go watch the recent video about the Venus-Jupiter conjunction that came out a few days before this one. You definitely want to pay attention, Cancer, to that, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's a nice rare cycle, last seen in the same way 2001, 2002. So anyway, let's get back on point. Tomorrow's video will cover the kite for your sign. So let's instead talk about the moon as a solo issue or solo story. The moon is in the 8th house of money that is chunky. It means you don't earn it through a paycheck on the daily. It literally can look like a insurance payout, a tax rebate, money from your spouse, money from spousal support and alimony, money because you got an inheritance, money from resources you share with any other person, business partnership, etc. So that money, investment monies, you sharehold in a company, right? That money is there. So the full moon is a full light here with Pluto, the god of wealth. So you might want to take a look back in time, perhaps to the new moon here, February 9th of 2024, the first quarter moon, November of 2024, because those 2 points may connect to things that are trying to change or rearrange themselves in your money story. How you share money with other people, including your spouse, is going to maybe rearrange itself. Also, this is the occult arts. You know what I mean? Tarot, numerology, astrology, metaphysics, supernatural, spooky, talk to dead people. Moon here is asking you to pay attention. Pluto with the moon might be saying, can you talk to dead people? Do you have occult talents or gifts that you're not paying attention to? Because the moon is flowing to the 4th house, we're talking ancestral. My great aunt Susie, my mother's mother or something, was a witch, a psychic, a tarot reader, a fortune teller. Where do you come from ancestral line wise, childhood experience wise, where you are a ghost whisperer, where there's more to life than meets the eye? Because I think this is a moon that's shining a light and revealing to you unknown hidden gifts and talents in that 8th house. But it also is about your money, and it reflects a bunch of stuff going on in the possessions and earnings sky. Like, one of the things about this sky is it could indicate a desire to sell a home in the next 6 months. I'm just going to give you a heads up on that. Buy a home maybe, but more likely to move home, change home, or sell a home. But also looking at the energy of this massively impactful earnings, resources, and possessions, how you make money, where it comes from, house. This is a moon that reflects a Proserpina, the wealthy queen of the underworld, wife of Pluto. She had a trauma and then she overcame it and became a queen of the underworld. So how are you feeling that you can overcome any challenges financially by becoming a queen of your own money? At the same time, the Siwa presence of the asteroid of the Slavic goddess herself tells us that something has to break down in order for something new to be built here. There may be a need to break down the old ways of money, earning money, possessing money, creating wealth and prosperity, thrival and survival, to break away from what you've been doing in order to build up something new. And some of you may be feeling that you are coming to a close, therefore, of the way you've made money. But hey, it's time to dig under the surface and then tap those ancestral roots, tap the ways that your family of origins lineage has natural gifts and talents that you can use. That kite's a humdinger, guys, and some of you are certainly going to change your home within at least 6 months of this moon. And this kite is reinforcing the idea for some of you of some shifts of where you live. Now, one of the other elements, and please watch the kite video for your sign. It's coming out Monday, August 4th. The idea here is you could also change your dietary habits. It's not the most obvious thing. All those planets clustered in the second house can change how you, if you have an addiction, especially ending that, some of the habits around diet, food, eating, that can change as well. But the moon would help reveal hidden patterns, ways you didn't see that you are living a dietary style from childhood wounds, for example. Now, one of the other things I want to mention in the sky Uranus brings break free, breakthrough, and he's in your 12th house. And that's why I mentioned self-undoing, like a pattern of addictive substance use, or maybe overeating, or some food style that just isn't good for you. And you know it, like you only eat so many Haagen-Dazs bars at night while you're watching Netflix. So there's something that wants to change here. And it has an element of shock and breakthrough in a positive way. If you break through any kind of self-undoing pattern or habit, you're not only breaking free for yourself, but you're liberating your ancestral line, those that come after you, those that will come through your lineage beyond you, having this amazing opening as well. Now, one more thing, I just drew a card for you. I'm going to talk about it. The second house is called the voice, vocation, calling. And you might be really wanting to move your calling into something that has a deeper aura and area of interest to do with the mysteries, the occult mysteries, and the magic of the eighth house. That can include Tantra for those of you involved in tantric encounters with romantic and sexual energies. And the reason I'm saying the voice is the second house is a card I drew is this one. Listen to your inner voice, intuition, Navajo god, Dine. Now, you can't make it up because I basically said all of that already. You know, the eighth house is where I talk to dead people. I clear, see, clear, know, clear, hear. It's your deepest intuitive knowing. It's the archetypes of your soul. It has to do with the deep and profound possibility of transformation. Now, intuition, the Navajo god, is what I will read to you. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, I do have to look at the books section on that. So give me 30 seconds. And here we go. 43. So let's go ahead and tell you a bit about this book from Renee Baribeau, the Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle, my friend, and she's doing her walking in the Cotswolds. I think there might be 1 or 2 spots left, like kind of a pilgrimage of the soul, shamanic journey work, going with other people to explore and contemplate as you walk and stop in different places along the way, like a pilgrimage. So this is neat. The actual god's name is Neil Chi. Oh, Dine is the name of the Navajos, the people. Yeah. So it's just called Neil Chi. She's a holy wind in Navajo cosmology and encourages deep introspection, listening. In a world overwhelmed by noise and distraction, the sacred force invites you to simplify, reflect, and connect with what truly matters. Present at this moment of creation, Nilchi merged dark and light energies, bringing life into being. Okay, so there's a lot going on when you get this card, by the way, that it's a guiding force of wisdom. And basically, silence your external noise, seek inner clarity, and reconnect with your inner wisdom. Okay. And over the 2 to 3 weeks after this moon, that would be your oracle guidance for how to handle the powerful energies in the sky. A moon ruled by Saturn involved in a crazy ass kite. Please watch the kite video tomorrow. You're going to need both of them, I swear. Let's go ahead and do our next sign. If you like oracle draws with the astrology, let me know in the comments and I'll continue to do it. I thought I'd just try a new format. I found myself wanting to experiment a bit more, maybe create my own tarot channel as well. And I thought maybe I'd just try some oracles here to begin with. So let's keep going. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Let's get you up and running. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. So, holy man, every time you have a lunation in your 7th house, it's usually about someone else, you know, your spouse, your business partner, an audience, client, member, or troll, anything public audience, marketplace, full light, full moon. And with Pluto, the moon could be showing you what's hidden from view. Your partner might be revealing things that were hidden from view, telling you things you didn't know, sharing secrets, that kind of thing. Now, the moon is also connected to the beginning of a longer story. In February of 2024, there was a new moon here. Then on November 8th of 2024, there was a first quarter moon. And those moons are like connect the dots. You might find relationship, marriage, partnership, audience, marketplace themes, right? Pluto's been in and out of Aquarius since 2023. Death, rebirth, regeneration through beginnings and endings in relationship is a long story that you're in for to 2044. Having this energy of a new moon back in February of 2024 and a quarter moon in November of 24. If you think of someone like Donald Trump, sorry to mention him, he's not Darth Vader, he's just the president of the United States. You might think, oh, well, he might put his hat in the ring to go for the election for sure. Maybe, I don't know, February of 24, then he won the election in November of 24. So for Trump, it's definitely aligning with the election theme for him. Maybe other themes as well. But it's his public, it's his audience, it's the people who need to elect him as well as things like running mates and enemies who oppose his success. So you got all of those things happening in his seventh house. Again, your seventh house, here it is again. Full light, full moon is also powerfully aligned to your natural gifts and talents expressed through the energy of Arachne. This talents you are born with, it could best the gods because you came equipped with them, is third house talent. Are you a natural communicator, writer? Are you a natural a traveler and you have a talent for travel? Are you a natural educator, teacher, or even a natural born student? Whatever your natural gifts are, they want to be expressed. They're also anchored to a kite peripherally. Goodness gracious, watch my kite video for your sign on Monday, August 4th video, because I can't do both today, but like, wow. Full moonlight shining in the seventh house, reflecting a lot of stuff, but pulling in your natural talents and gifts to express it outwardly into the world, into the public, into the audience, with your clients, with those you wish to serve, whether it's one-on-one or one-on-many. Particularly as well, a side story could be your partner in your life, if you're with someone and their ability to now begin to illuminate, uncover, reveal to themselves what natural gifts and talents they also possess that they can express in their own lives. Having the moon reflect all of the Leo story is a powerful narrative because you've got Proserpina, the queen of the underworld, who had trauma and became a powerful queen and was not a victim. And she's about the power and wealth that you're capable of in life after you overcome some version of trauma in your own world. And having the energy of Siwa, the Slavic goddess who would like you to break something down and to build something up. This is in your identity. Leo sun in your career identity, Leo moon in your home life and identity, but Leo rising, your frigging character wants to be broken down and built back up into something new. It's powerful energy because, it really is time to find a new version of you. If this is a Leo rising, listen today. It's like the wall will crumble and then you'll take the bricks or the bits and stones and build a new wall or a new form of some kind in who you are. Because the moon's reflecting it by other people, you look to friends, look to clients, look to others in your life to give you a clue, like a mirror for you of how you must rebuild and redefine your career, your home life, Leo sun, Leo moon, or your rising, anything about yourself. Any way your character needs to change, right? Uranus is shocking, surprising, exciting, exhilarating, unexpected changes in the career gains or from friends, allies, benefactors, or a sibling one older that are beneficial for the Uranian energy flows to this moon, flows to Arachne, flows to the bottom of that kite. Some of you might even pick up and change your neighborhood. If you live in a neighborhood that's not right for you, change of neighborhood over the course of probably the 6 months following the moon is a possibility, especially connected to matters with your spouse or your significant other in your life. The move may be generated by situations between you and a desire for a relocation of home. Don't forget Mars rules your fourth house. And in the third house, it's a change of neighborhood or location, usually within the same country or the same city. This is usually not a foreign land move in my experience. Now, we're going to draw a card for you and see what guidance over the next 2 to 3 weeks after the moon you might work with the Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. And it's funny because it's a walking, when you're going for a walk. And I find that fascinating too. You've got the Ancestor card. Like, because you might move, right? Go walk to a new home. ancestor card, build a strong foundation, and it's Hawaiian. Now, what I like about this right away is that Mars is a ruler, Mars, who's with the asteroid of your natural talents and gifts, who flows to the moon in Aquarius. This is also your fourth house. And Mars is a ruler of your fourth house. So there's a lot of connection to the kite that's coming from what Mars is in charge of, which is your Scorpio, fourth house of home, ancestors, family of origin, ancestral line. I'm going to tell you a bit about what this book says about the ancestor card. So let's get that up and running. Let's take a look at that story. Ancestor card. I think it would be under La Amayo. I can't pronounce it, but let's pretend I did. La Amayo Mayo. Hawaiian 39. Sorry, fellow Hawaiians out there, for mangling that. Not fellow, but you Hawaiians. 39. Here we go. Ancestors. Okay. La'a meo meo. Ha ha ha. There we go. La'a meo meo. Assemble the winds of La'a meo meo to enhance vital relationships. In ancient Hawaiian mythology, this was a keeper of the sacred wind gourd, which contained winds of Hawaii. Passed down to her son, Paka'a, the gourd allowed its keeper to summon winds by moving the tapa, a bark cloth, from specific holes, influencing trade winds, harvests, and weather. That's cool. This energy encourages reflection on relationships, helping you build solid foundations, trust your wisdom and problem-solving skills, and deepen your connection with nature to find clarity and peace in turbulent times. Yes, it will ask you to reflect on relationships because the moon is in the house of relationships, but also the solid foundations of the ancestral line, the home, and the family of origin are going to be in your radar in the 2 to 3 weeks after this. And anyone that you live with in the home may be enmeshed within the lunation, spouse, children, home, changes, relationships. The kite itself is worthy of your attention because it is going to be very powerfully trying to maybe move some of you to a new place to live in the year ahead, but certainly within 6 months, you may see that to be true. Now we're going to go and talk about the sign after the Leos. And that is going to look like the Virgo people, sun, moon, and rising Virgo people out there. So you'll notice that I haven't moved this forward, although I tried. You'll notice that the South Node is in your sign, Virgo. And I'm not going to talk much about it, but you've got some eclipses coming up, one in Virgo eclipse in September. You had one in March. You're under a lot of transformative change right now. Every 18 years, you get this kind of eclipse cycle. It last went back to 2006, 7, and a bit into 2008. And it's here again, right? 2024, 5, that kind of, 25, 26, you're in the throes of this energy field again. So with the knowing that you're revising yourself, right? Virgo sun, your career is changing. You're letting go of one path to maybe open a new one. Moon, your home and where you live is changing. Virgo moon, Virgo rising, anything about your career path, anything about your life, anything about your residence, anything about your spouse, any part of your life could be under massive shift and change, including your identity. So that's a backdrop story that needs to be watched for. And as I say that, okay, you're going to say, well, what about the full moon in the workhouse? My job, my work, my employers, my employees, my servants, things I do in the work environment, even in your home office. This is your workspace, right? Well, there's a light there, a fulfillment, a moon that wants to grab your attention. Take a look. What needs to happen, what needs to complete or fulfill, or what needs to change, and see how to make a shift because the moon is lighting it up. Pluto was transformation, power, and wealth here in the workhouse. As well, if you were thinking about matters to do with work, Uranus in your 10th house brings surprises, unexpected changes in the work career space. And with Mars and Arachne in the earnings house, it's something along the lines of a moon that wants you to see that you can use your natural born gifts and talents, your abilities that you are good at just because you're who you are, and you can express those in surprising, shocking, sudden ways in a career path that's brand new and fresh, breaking free and breaking through, and having fulfillment, wealth, and power as a result of a new career direction or fortifying the existing one in a new way. Because ultimately, Arachne and that moon are trying to get you to harness gifts and talents that you are naturally able to do that are better than the gods. Best the Athenian weaver. You've got this one. This is your zone of genius. I should just called it the zone of genius, your zone of genius. Now, the moon also is connected to, maybe for you, February of 2024, and then November of 2024. What was going on in your life at those junctures that connect to matters to do with the work stories, the career stories, and maybe the money and earning stories? They should be a bit of a connect the dots storyline for you. Okay, my daughter, Virgo rising, finished up her education in the spring of 2024 at university. She got her first job at the end of the summer of 2025. So it's leading her into November's new job environment, perhaps, and maybe, finally getting her training finished in the new job. I don't know. You can try to connect the dots. Some of you, it will make sense. Some of you, it may not. Now, the moon is lit up and it is reflecting to you asteroids Siwa. And this is important because she is going to ask you to break down, break free, destroy something in order for something new to emerge. And Proserpina, who was abducted to the underworld but became the queen of heaven, is also here. And, for most times and most people, the 12th house is literally traumas that are connected to the ancestral line or your past lives. But even deeper than that, self-undoing, addictions, habits, and patterns that sabotage your life. And the moon is reflecting those in the house of health. So some of you may have to look more squarely at your physical wellness on this full light with Pluto unearthing hidden problems with your health, but because of your own habits and patterns. And if it's not like an addiction, then it could be, or a substance misuse or abuse, then it could be because you're working too hard, or because you don't know how to balance your work and play life, or you don't know how to get along properly with colleagues. And so you hide out at the coffee shop every day instead of having lunch with people. Like, where are you letting yourself down, right? Where are you finding, oh my God, I'm sabotaging my success in the work strategies or in the health strategies of my chart. So the moon is going to reflect some underworld visionary stuff, right? The queen of the underworld and Pluto are both engaged. So you can see under the surface and change it, because Siwa says, break it down, build it back up. If I was to read Siwa again and think that might be worthy of reading Siwa for you guys, right? She says specifically, she says the following kinds of things. Alive and living as a mean of her name. And she can be involved in the process of breaking down and breaking through, which leads to major insights, ending of fixated beliefs, crisis of death and rebirth and regeneration. Accepting something must break down to make way for something better. So if you're going to break down a 12th house thing, for a lot of you, it's your own sabotaging, self-sabotaging stuff. Now, this is the house of hospitals, and there's a sun here. And it is possible with the opposition to Pluto and all of this stuff, and the kite, which you'll have to watch tomorrow, of some father figure in a hospital setting at this time. Okay. I don't know. It could be anybody, it could be a great grandparent for all I know. If that's happening, you're breaking karmic chains that have bound you to that person in your life in a way that you'll now be free of. Okay. So that's the best I can say about that narrative. And lastly, with Uranus in the top of the sky, talk about exciting. Look, you're going to have some surprising changes, breakthroughs and breakthroughs in the work story. Like maybe the work you've been doing for a long time or even a short time is no longer true and right for you. Mars in that kite is going to cut through a money axis and connect to career and work and try to make a change. So look for the next 6 months even to bring a change of work, but look for the kite in this week ahead to give some defining answers. So please watch Monday's video, because it's a very important money kite and work kite for you. And it's coming into fruition on the around the 9th of the month, on the day of the moon. Okay, now I'm going to draw a card. Whoa, I almost dropped my ring light here. I'm going to draw a card for you guys. And this is all about this particular full moon in Aquarius, from the Windwalker's Oracle by Renee Baribeau. And she's a friend of mine. So, and you got an interesting card. Oppositional forces, Van Toese, I guess. Resistance sparks creative growth, and it's Romanian. Gotta love Romanian stuff. Man, oh man. Romanians are greatest, Bulgarian, Romanian astrologers. Holy man. They still are in touch with the occult arts and the mysteries in that part of the world. All righty, let's go and get a little bit of this story going for you. 56, 56, 56, 56. All right, hang on. And I'm going to read this to you, reminding you that one more thing, your natural gifts and talents, right, where Arachne sits in the second house, want to be expressed through your work and your career. But the second house talents involve speech, just so you know. So for any of those who think speaking could be a natural gift, singing, speaking, using your throat, that's a possibility as well. All right, or the spoken word can also be turned to the written word as well, I suppose. Van Twashi. There, Van Twashi. Roman mistress of the winds, the clash between oppositional forces, movement versus stillness, chaos, and calm. This wind's energy reflects the tension between opposites, urging us to find balance amid discord. There's a lot of tension in our sky with the backbone of that kite this week during the moon. So that, yeah, when opposing forces pull at you, call on Van Twashi to help navigate the storm. She teaches that harmony emerges from the dance of opposites, pushing us toward clarity and resolution. Well, full moon is the opposite, sun-moon opposition. And at the same time the moon is happening, we have a Mars-Saturn opposition. There's a lot of energy there for you. And the resistance can spark creative growth. And I'd say in the direction that you take your career. Moving to Libra. How can I only be at Libra? Oh my goodness gracious. It's probably a one video day despite myself. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. The first thing I want to say is the natural talents and gifts that you are born with are your zone of genius is in the sign of Libra with Mars. And it's possible that your zone of genius is being highlighted. Where are you naturally talented, and what gifts did you come into this life already equipped with? For those abilities are now highlighted in the full moon in your fifth house of natural abilities, gifts, and talents. So you're really looking, Libra, at saying, I've always been good at speaking, dancing, singing, writing, communicating. I've always been good at math, this, that, whatever. You take your pick. You're going to be focused on it. The full moon with Pluto is revealing and unearthing other gifts and talents that you're naturally born with in your zone of genius you might not have noticed before or claimed before. So Libras are looking more deeply at this. There's no way you can't do that. Full moon is in a house of good fortune. It can bring some financial good fortune. It can bring positive energies around children, fertility, pregnancy, and grandchildren. Where Uranus sits in the house of grandchildren, look for the possibility of grandchildren coming into your life that you weren't anticipating. Middle bit of a surprise could happen here. The moon is also in a reflector mode to the planets in your 11th house, and Mercury retrograde is here. So things from the past are burbling away this week, to do with job opportunities from the past, former friends and colleagues from past jobs, former job situations, former friends coming out of the woodwork. But importantly, the moon is reflecting the sun's companions in the sky. There's Siwa and there is Proserpina. Proserpina on the sun, the goddess who became the underworld queen, abducted by Pluto, turn a trauma into a powerful story of success, of power, of wealth. So this is where you might have a lot of potency and power in your career gains through friends, allies, benefactors, or a sibling one older. And there is a sense with Siwa that you might 17 want to break down, tear down something old, right? Regenerate something new because you allow for something to be broken through or broken down that exists already. So there could be a breaking down and a breaking away from some way that you've already created career gains and success so that you can do something different or new that uses your natural talents, gifts, and abilities. And you have a lot of fun doing it. moon in the fifth is inspiration, enthusiasm, fun. If you go back to, February of 2024, and maybe November 2024, those touch points were the new moon and first quarter moon that could have stepping stones to this particular story. Whatever you were doing then, you may be able to connect some dots to what this will be now. Full moons are lighting the way in the house of good fortune, and it's really calling you to move into more true authentic enthusiasm and joy and expression of your gifts and talents. By the way, entrepreneurial abilities and skills and talents and expressions as well can bring wealth over the course of 2 to 3 weeks after the moon, but over the course of 6 months after the moon as well, until the next moon in Aquarius. You are at the epicenter of a kite with Mars, that's a sword in your hand. Please go watch my Monday video coming out on the 4th of August, because I cannot cover a kite and a moon in one video. That video is already premiering, it's already set up. I'm recording this one now for Sunday. So don't want you to miss the Monday video, because you and Aries of all signs are the ones that literally must pay attention to the kite. Trust me on this. You can't make this shit up. The house of windfalls are at the house 11, pennies from heaven, and the house of good fortune, the 5th house. And both of those houses are lit up. The sun in the house of pennies from heaven, and the moon in the house of good fortune. Therefore, windfall, gratitude, joyful winds bring unexpected blessings, and it is dynamic. Do I need to say any more? Do I really? It's going to tell me what I've already told you. You are in a time of gratitude that comes from some lucky breaks. And this is a dynamic wind. We have different kinds of winds. This one's a dynamic wind. And what did I call it? Windfall. Here it is, 74. You know what a windfall is? It's when the wind blows and the fruit falls from the tree. The wind has blown the fruit. They've fallen from the tree. It's a harvest. It was easy, right? So, joyful winds bring unexpected blessings, Libras. When a windfall sweeps into your life, it arrives as a joyful gust, bringing unexpected blessings. A wind is a reminder to embrace gratitude for the unforeseen abundance that comes your way. Just as trees sway gracefully in a breeze, allow yourself to flow with this wind, appreciating its gifts. Windfall energy is the universe aligning in your favor. Manifestations include sudden financial gains, unexpected opportunities, or emotional support from loved ones. In these moments, reflect on how you can spread this joy to others, and as your generosity amplifies the blessings. Approach life with open arms. Windfalls are fleeting and anchor. So anchor yourself in gratitude and share your good fortune to keep the cycle of abundance flowing, Libra. Wow. Good for you. And don't forget, you got a gorgeous air trine, and Uranus in Gemini will indicate the surprise, from your ninth house, right? Oh my God, ninth house. Yeah, ninth house. Maybe I didn't say anything about that. I meant to do that. So Uranus is in your ninth house, flowing to your Libra story and flowing back to your 5th house story, Aquarian. So that's that windfall, and the Lakshmi ninth house is a surprise, is a prosperity and luck house as well. So you're definitely looking at some windfall energies coming up for you. All right, let's go ahead and do the next sign. And we're into the Scorpio people. Now, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign folk, you have a kite, and I want you to watch Monday's video, because it can dramatically change matters to do with health and work. So watch the video that comes out Monday, August 4th. But we're today focusing on the moon, and the moon is full in the 4th house. Full light in the 4th house can be very much what the moon loves. It's the midnight hour. The moon is full. You can go outside and do something in the dark. So it's quite happy to be here. The moon is naturally liking this place, and it's shining a light into your home. So it can be what you do in your home or private life. It can be land, property, real estate. It can be things that happen with the people in your home. It can also represent your childhood and your family of origin and your ancestral line. So the moon is a flashlight here. It's big and bright and full. And it's also completion energy, fulfillment. So you might want to fulfill something like change your home, complete your home, move to a new home, complete the time in a current residence. That's a possibility. Fulfillment can happen there. And not just in the 2 or 3 weeks after the moon, but up to 6 months later. It's certainly because the moon is sextiling the tip of a kite. If you're going to change your home, it may be a rental property, but with Uranus in the eighth house, some of you changing your home in the few months that follow this moon could also have sudden wealth coming in unexpectedly. And the North Node, it could even increase that more than you imagine, good fortune wise. So there can be unexpected monies that bring you a chance to purchase property as well, coming from this moon, Scorpio. But renting and purchasing and buying and selling. Okay. But also the moon is going to connect maybe to Arachne, the natural talents and gifts you have in this life that you were born with. And in this chart, also from past lives. What were you really good at in multiple incarnations, your zone of genius, and how can that transfer and translate in this sky to expressing it in and from the home? Now, the home chart, the fourth house isn't a career space, not a career space, right? It's like, unless you work from home. And if you do, then you can express your gifts and talents from home in a way that really is going to light up, your genius, your zone of genius. The moon is also a reflector of the sun, and the sun is with the wealthy goddess of the underworld, the queen of the underworld, Proserpina, and Siwa, who want you to break something down, break free, break through, break down something in the career space. And I don't know, Uranus says sudden unexpected chunks of money. North Node says lucky. Pluto says wealth. I don't know where your unexpected chunky money is coming from. Father figures is one possibility. The kite's in the house of hospitals and it activates illness and father figures as well. Some of you may come into family money off of this. Pluto is in the house of family wealth, legacy wealth. So up your line, there may be wealth transferred down to you. And it can come in ways that are not full of hardship. Maybe your mother or father win the lottery and they just want to give you a chunk of money. So don't get all fretful here about this, okay? Grandparents as well, great grandparents, take your pick. So there is exciting energy. It really feels to me, the kite is so important. I can't talk to you about the kite right now. It's too much information, but please go watch the Monday, the 4th August video on the kite for you this week ahead. If you felt like you had to rise from a difficult circumstance in your work to a place of authority and power, that could be the Proserpina sun narrative, but you kind of did it now. You're done. It's complete. Like you want to break it out. You want to break it down. You want to get rid of it. You know what I mean? You want to finish with it basically. And if you do finish with that, over the course of the next 6 months, you may also be liberating yourself from some habits and patterns that connect to father figures, childhood, even past lives that defined your success or lack of success in career. So there's a lot of energy from that 12th house, 8th house, 4th house soul work house to liberate you from deep karmic and ancestral patterns that have held you back. Your card today is an Inuit card from the people of the North, the Inuits. And it is, we call them Eskimos in a political incorrect way, I'm sure. Sila Inua, inner wisdom, embrace your divinity. Embrace your divinity. Now, this triangle in the sky that is activating, the Libra, Aquarius, Gemini is the moksha spiritual liberation house. And it does have to do in very many ways with activating your deepest aspect of you, your soul. And with Jupiter, Venus in a luck house and a divinity house, your 9th house right now, not only can you have chunks of windfall money coming to you in unexpected ways, but also you can lean into a new direction with your spiritual path, to move more into alignment with your soul, with divine energies, and with God. So I'm going to move into the reading of the Inuit god, Sila Inua. I'm not know if I'm pronouncing it right, but we will try. And the card set deck says, number 48, Sila Inua, Sila, Sila, Sila Inua. Sila Inua, Sila Inua. Oh my God. Breathe in the winds of Sila Inua when you seek the clarity of inner knowing, for this Inuit god of Canada represents the sacred life force that resides in the wind and all living beings. She embodies the spirit of all things and teaches the importance of mindfulness and reverence for nature. This ancient wind guides your soul's journey, helping you trust your intrinsic wisdom. Call upon Sila Inua to gain insight and remain centered in times of uncertainty. Let this wind connect you to your inner divinity, enabling to make choices with calm reflection. And that's your guidance for this time, 2 to 3 weeks after this powerful moon in your chart in that fourth house placement. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you're in the premiere, and if you're watching the video later, it still helps me to like and subscribe and help the channel grow. I would appreciate that very much. Now it is Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising sign that we're focused on. And we have a beautiful lunation, full and bright, in your third house on the 9th. This moon is going to happen at 17 Aquarius, and it's going to open up possibly a fulfillment or opportunities or maybe completions in matters to do with journeying short distances, skills-based learning and education or teaching, matters to do with social media, writing and communicating, perhaps even marketing and selling, and connections to aunts, uncles, cousins, etc., extended family, but also to a sibling one younger than you, or generally speaking, siblings. With a spotlight in your third house, you might want to go back in time to February of 2024 and November of 2024. And there's a lot to say about those timeframes in your story, because these energies are interconnected in 9-month cycles that would open up the possibility of this being the final act. What were you doing in the February of 2024 timeframe that took a turn in November of 24 and is turning yet again? It could be to do with courses, study, travel, all the third house things I mentioned, neighbors, neighborhood as well. Pluto is here unearthing something. You want to unearth it. You want to dig it up. You want to churn the soil and see what's underneath. And what could be here is secrets. And it could be family secrets connected to siblings or your extended family. And so full moon with Pluto can always reveal on the yearly now for the next few years secrets about those members of family. Full moon, full light is also trining your natural talents and gifts, or the genius, zone of genius. Do you have a zone of genius that can be reflected in a way that it leads to career gains, that you could be earning more money, being more financially successful because you are using your gifts and talents? Because if that's what you want, this is what you can get. But are your talents also connected to the third house? Are you great at writing, marketing, selling, teaching, communicating? Those are ways to think about it. Oh, I just about tipped my light over. Also, the moon reflects the light of a bunch of stuff in Leo, and particularly Proserpina and Siwa. Proserpina, the goddess of the underworld, emerged from trauma to become all-powerful queen of the underworld. And Siwa, who wants you to break down. She means alive. Where are you alive in life? You might something mean to break down in order for you to regenerate, renew, and rebirth your life in the 9th house. That is definitely about your spiritual faith. Visas, passports, travel, publishing, and education, but also flowing, like the energy being lit back up from the moon. I mean, I'd say there's some changes that could occur in your life to go back to learn something that has to do with your natural talents and gifts, especially with the kite pointing at the 5th house. Some of you may go to school to enhance your natural gifts and balance your life out again by being able to use your talents in order to succeed at your long-range goals and dreams. Watch the kite video that comes out on August 4th, because it will really help you move in the direction of liftoff with that kite. The moon is connected peripherally, and therefore we're talking about the moon today as well. I kind of would like you to think about this moon at 17 degrees here as well as connected to surprises in your 7th house. There is a possibility of a surprise coming from an audience, client, marketplace person, customer, client, but it can also be from your significant long-term partnership. And if there is a surprise here, especially with asteroid child in the 5th house, it would be, hey, honey, we're pregnant. So keep that in mind as well. But other surprises You could have major surprises with legal contracts, new opportunities for travel, connections to new love stories or old ones. If you start a love story under this, and you can, it's going to be very profoundly transformative with Venus in the eighth house. But I think for you, if you already have a partner, your partner may have some unexpected, surprising developments as well, connected to a sort of a whole sign flow to the moon. And it could have, for some of you, a change of home. All the way through till next summer, the North Node can expand your current home, but move you as well. And so surprises in the life of your partner as well, in love and committed love, can lead to a change of home that is moving to a different city or a town or a neighborhood in the next 6 months after the moon unfolds. Now, what kind of card does this Wind Wisdom's deck have for you? The Windwalker's Wisdom Oracle. And if you want to definitely, oh, goodness gracious, you're the second one to get this card. I shuffled the deck again. Windfall, joyful windspring, unexpected blessings. Okay, that was Libra. I'm not going to read it again. I'm going to tell you to go back to Libra. It's what it sounds like. Be grateful for unexpected windfalls and blessings. Okay. Libra had it as well. That's crazy. The reason you probably have the windfall card, there's always a reason. I'll show you the chart again, is you have the Jupiter-Venus conjunction in the eighth house. And technically, although that's not the highlight of this video, the moon is the highlight of the video, right? You can see here that these two doubled. Go watch my video that came out on this lucky energy. It lasts for a year, not just on the 12th of August. This is windfall energy right here. Okay, so I don't know. It's just the moon brought it up for whatever reason to highlight it. It is the house of the moon. The moon owns the place of the windfall, and it is in the house of chunky money. I will be doing another video on that conjunction. It is lovely to have Venus and Jupiter there in a chunky money house, that you don't earn that money, flowing to the North Node. And the moon is telling us, look, pay attention to that as well. Gratitude for the windfalls that life bestows upon you. And Mars / the Arachne asteroid is also in the house of pennies from heaven, where the unexpected windfalls come from. So yay for you, Scorpios. Hey, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Full moon, second house, earnings, possessions, dietary habits, styles, face, throat, teeth. So lighting that up. Do you need dental work? Do you need facial rejuvenation? Do you want to take a flashlight to your dietary habits, what you put in your nose and mouth? Well, you might do that. But the full moon is also connected to a gift, talents, and abilities, and a zone of genius in the 10th house of career and reputation. I would ask you to look really clearly at things you do really well for career and livelihood related reasons, because there's an unexpected breakthrough with Uranus in the sixth house. So I think you're going to make a massive shift over the course of certainly the next 6 months, connected to things to do with the way you make money, your career, work routines, places of work. That's all changing. And Pluto is also wealth. And the moon wants to light up Pluto and engage in more riches and wealth in the part of the sky that represents your savings, possessions, and earnings as well. And Mars is the top of a kite in the 10th house. You do need to watch Monday's video on August 4th where I specifically focus on the kite. This full moon is in the money house. If you go back to February of 2024, and then you go to November 8th of 2024, and then you take this particular moment in time, you may find connection points between all of them, where that new moon in February of 24, the quarter moon in November of 24, and the full moon in August of 25 interconnect with each other. A story that's trying to get your attention. And it's about your money. It's about your resources. It's about your wealth. It's about your savings. The moon reflects a wealth energy of Proserpina, the goddess of the underworld, the heavenly queen of the underworld, wife of Pluto, and reflects a breakdown something, Siwa, a Slavic goddess whose name means alive or living. So what do you need to break down, so that you can build something new in the area of the chart that often represents money that you're not particularly making. It could be investments, spousal support, inheritances, tax rebates, chunks of money just coming at you somehow. If you sell a property, you could even consider some of the, after you give away the money to the real estate agent and the broker, some of those long range monies could be eighth house as well. There's a lot going on here that suggests too that if you're into a kind of soul work perspective on life, and the sun is shining in the eighth house of moksha and liberation, this can be deep investigations of your structures of ego and egoic consciousness that you wish to break down, especially when it comes to ancestral and family line stories, and how you can separate from that and from the self you've created, from the self you were raised to become and be, especially because there's asteroid child in the fourth house. And that's a part of your kite. Childhood stories and childhood realities are being revealed, reassessed, and repurposed to a new version of you. And that new version of you will be financially prosperous. I do think with Uranus flowing to the moon, there's a surprising, unexpected opportunity regarding work. The only other thing is a surprising and positive development regarding your teeth or your face or your dietary habits. Okay, you radically changed to vegan all of a sudden. But, on a more practical note, with the energy of the Mars and the asteroid of your natural abilities in the 10th house, a lot of you, this is definitely work, money, and career. Artha houses are turning, and whirling through the sky. Now, I got a great card for you, and it's going to be from the Wind Wisdom, I can never say it, the Wind Walker's Wisdom Oracle, Renee Baribeau. Some of you know that she's my friend. I went on a pilgrimage with her. She's been on my channel before. If you want to go on a pilgrimage to the Cotswolds in October in England with her, I think she has 2 spots left. I'll put information in my description box below. So that's the card, Steady, Unwavering, and Resolve. And let's take a look at it is a directional northwest wind. So one of the main winds that we have, in our compass, northwest. Yeah. And it's 17, page 17. Oh, that's funny. The moon's at 17 degrees, more or less. Ready? Dial in for the northwest. The intercardinal northwest wind is known for steady, unwavering resolve. Now, if there's a job opportunity for you, because that's what this looks like, I wouldn't put it past this to be literally northwest from where you currently live. Okay. The northwest wind represents stability, support, and steady progress. It urges you to put away excess to prepare for future seasons. Yeah, save some money. Rely on your inner resolve and trust the steady forces in your life. Like the northwest wind, take unwavering steps toward your goals, knowing the harvest will reward your efforts. Well, the harvest is financial. Okay, it's all happening in money and work and career energetics for you. And I already said, go back to February of 24 and November of 24 to connect some dots around the money, work, career matters that may be back up for you at this time. Okay. I know a Capricorn who thought he had a career opportunity maybe in the fall of 24. It might have connected to China, for example, right? And I do believe maybe in February 24, the same narrative was up. So maybe this time something really could happen. Who knows, as an example. For the next one, and by the way, don't forget, Capricorn sun, career, Capricorn rising, sure, it could be money and career, it could be all of those things. Capricorn moon, it's still a money story, but it connects to matters regarding your home, right? Your home life and all of this money vis-a-vis career. All right. It's always best to listen to your rising sign, really, because that's going to, for 90% of you, be more accurate than everything else. Sun sign next. All right. Last but not least, no, I wish I was there already. It's Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Aquarius, I am one of you. We have a lunation in our sign every year, full light, full moon, new moon. This is regular, no big deal, but Pluto's here. Now it's got intensity. Every full moon will uncover and reveal hidden parts of ourself. Pluto, for Aquarius sun, hidden parts of your soul and your purpose for being alive. Aquarian rising, any part of your identity being revealed to you more clearly in the game of life. And Aquarius moons, maybe things through childhood, home life, and revelation. So the full moon is a big light, and so you can see things in the dark, right? You can look at this moon as well as it reflects Arachne, your natural talents and gifts and abilities. And you want to use those natural gifts, talents, and abilities, your zone of genius, up here in maybe teaching, educating, publishing, law, spiritual pulpit stuff, a guiding, advising, spiritual, being on the pulpit, being a spiritual guru or a guide. This is where you have a zone of genius of some sort, according to Arachne, right? That needs to be opened up, revealed, and discovered, or opened up to be investigated and used. And this natural zone of genius is a part of that kite with Mars holding the handhold. And that's why I keep telling everybody, go to Monday's video to watch the kite video for your sign, Monday, August 4th. It is also possible that if you were to time travel backwards to February of 2024 and November of 2024, you'll notice that there's interlocking parts that connect to this full moon. And as an Aquarius rising, I would say to myself, well, the full moon is lighting something up about myself, right? It's trying to point the way. And the moon is the ruler of the sixth house of work. So maybe it has to do with work and health matters and really diving into a deeper look at that. And I can say, yes, I can see connections to February 24 and November 24, right? I'm not going to go into that now, but I do see connections there. And particularly with patterns for me around health. And so I want you to engage in deeper investigations of work and health matters around this moon, because this is a very introspective energy for you. The moon is shining on you to look deeply within at the ways in which you may be your own worst enemy even. So pay attention. The moon is reflecting a lot of mirror action in the seventh house of marriage, significant other, trolls, marketplace, clients, right? And literally, you can see you through the mirror of them. And this is a great time to do shadow work. The moon is reflecting the traumas of being Proserpina, abducted to the underworld, and then taken out of her mother's arms, so to speak, and out of the upper world or middle world. So, then she became the queen of heaven and became all powerful. So it's triumphing over adversity and trauma in marriage, in relationships of commitment, in the way you intersect audience, clients, marketplace, and trolls. At the same time, Siwa, who means alive in the house of others, is asking you to really look at what you need to break down and like complete and or finish or disintegrate or dissolve or something in the seventh house so that you can build something new. If you're in a long-term relationship or marriage right now, there may be a turning point towards dissolution or endings in that relationship so that you can begin to build something new. If you don't end the relationship, you end the grounds or the terms on which that relationship has been built to create something new, more alive, more full of life. Mercury retrograde during the moon could also mean that former long-term committed partners, clients, customers, people from your past are returning, and they are also going to be a mirror for what you desire in those relationships as you look inward. It's all inner work. Go within or go without, you guys, because the moon is in your sign. It's lighting you up to inspect a flashlight within yourself, right? Shock, surprise, unexpected developments in the fifth house. By the way, Arachne, Mars, etc., in the ninth house. Oh, by the way, moon in your house. These are important Dharma houses, are all about your gifts, talents, and abilities. They're also lucky houses, especially 5 and 9. So there's a bit of luck in this lunation as well. The deeper you look within, the luckier you are. Maybe that's a message for you. Shocking, surprising, exciting developments regarding grandchildren. And you may indeed have a grandchild born with natural gifts and talents that you recognize in yourself. There may be something going on with unexpected developments for pregnancy or grandchildren in the life of Aquarians, especially rising. And unexpected breakthroughs to do with creativity, art, entrepreneurship, and international themes of publishing, themes of traveling, and themes of teaching. The kite also goes into some of that. So go watch Monday's video so you know what to do with this whole week ahead. hot mess for the world. The next, oh my God, I say about the 6th of the month of August through to the 13th, 12th even, we're in a very calamitous kite, very difficult tension in the sky. And one of the other things about the kite, okay, because I'm not going to do the kite all over again, you get to participate in the kite, okay? And the reason you're participating in the kite is you are Pluto. Like you are literally in the middle of the kite. You must watch the kite. I mean, you must watch it, okay? The video for tomorrow. Okay, unity. True strength lies in humility. Ancient Visayans, Filipino god. Okay. Lehangan. Let's see why we need unity. All right. Our Dharma houses are all up in fire, right? Ninth house of God, fifth house of talents and gifts and abilities, first house of sense of self. So the ninth house brings us into that metacosmos energy between the worlds, beyond this one realm. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at this. And we have an LIH. Let's get it here. LIH. I was going to record Thursday's video today, and I'm not only because I don't think I have time, but because I realize there's so much going on in the world. I should probably wait to see what's going to happen. Yeah. Sorry, it's taking me a while to find that one. 40 days and 40 nights. Li Hanjin. Okay. Filipino god. He reminds us that true strength comes, it's about his relationship with Lidigat, the sea goddess. Well, I talked about the moon is in the house of self and other, right? You and a long-term partner, you and your client, you and your audience. And it is a self and other card. You can't make this stuff up. So this card, Lee Hadingen, reminds us that true strength comes from love, patience, and understanding. He guides those facing conflict or inner turmoil, encouraging unity in relationships. And within oneself, go within, guys. His winds clear the path, helping you navigate challenges with clarity and with compassion. Invoke Lee Henjin when seeking peace or resolution, as his presence fosters harmony. The legend mirrors the Filipino values of family and community, emphasizing cooperation and mutual support as essential to the collective strength. I'm going to adopt a new approach to the trolls. Troll not the trolls, or lest she be trolled. All right, last but not least is Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. All right, so let's go ahead to the last sign is Pisces. Sorry, guys. It just went flying through the sky without me. On August the 9th, Pisces, a full moon is going to happen in Aquarius, and it's going to light up a big torchlight or flashlight of clarity or vision or knowing in a very unconscious, hard to see place. That is your 12th house, the 12th house of past lives, ancestral stories, unconscious drives and desires. You could use this house through meditation, hypnosis, dreams at night to get deeper perspectives on parts of yourself that you're not aware of. And when a full moon shines here, it's also shining in what we know as a spiritual awakening house, a liberation from the matrix or the dream. And this liberation is the Buddhahood, the full deal, shunyata, nirvana, whatever. It's going all the way to full enlightenment. So a full moon, every time this happens, it can bring you that. But with Pluto here now, this is the second time we've had Pluto and a full moon here, I believe, since 2023. Not, in other words, you get it till 2043 or 4. This is going to be a window of spiritual investigation. I mean, if you have any shadow content uncovered, Pluto will show it to you. If past life stuff is getting in the way, Pluto will reveal it to you. Dreams at night can be extremely important at this time. The moon also is in a trine to a goddess of natural talents and gifts in a house of finance. No, it's so funny. I was telling a Pisces rising, I know, to maybe look into money trading or stock investing. He was a Merrill Lynch trading trained as a younger guy, because this is a natural talent and gift in the 8th house with Libra. It can indicate an ability with balancing the budget, balancing the scales, or working in trading and money and commerce. So any of you listening, you may have a gift there. It's funny, my Pisces rising sister was a bookkeeping accountant type. You know what I mean? So, I mean, she doesn't do that anymore, but that all Pisces risings should be able to balance things financially and maybe other people's money, right? Handle the commerce, scales of commerce here, financial advisor, stock trader. So there's a natural ability you have also in the house of occult mysteries and magic, tarot, paranormal, divining, psychic ability, talking to the dead. So maybe you have a natural gift there that you want to explore, and you need to explore, because Pluto moon is saying, look under the surface. You were born for this. It's your zone of genius. You carried it from a past life, even. Some of it comes from your family of origin, the ancestral line. And with Uranus in the 4th house, there could be sudden, shocking arrivals of insights into who you are, connected to past lives, connected to your abilities and talents, connected to your childhood, connected to your family of origin, breakthrough insights, flashes of new knowing, or revelations of what talents you actually have and maybe not be using. And the kite's involved in this. And that's important because it can bring you new money. And that kite video in depth that will come out on August the 4th, which is a Monday. Go watch it, because I really took a lot of time for your sign there as well. I think that for you, having this moon in the 12th house is something you could easily pay no attention to. You've got to go still, you've got to be alone, and you've got to be quiet to get the energy for this particular moon easily. Having a reflection of a sun in the 6th house of karmic debts, service, job, work, health, pets, okay, is important. A simple way of having this moon play out is a sudden opportunity to get a pet from a far off distant shore. Okay, surprise. A soul work level is much deeper, breaking karmic patterns and habits as well as karmic debt patterns and releasing karmic debt. On a real life note, Proserpina abducted to the underworld in the house of health. Have you felt like you've been a victim of your own health, or in the house of work, a victim of the jobs that you do or don't have? And they felt like servitude and slavery. And you thought to yourself, because it was the house of slavery, I'm not being politically incorrect. Indentured servitude, slavery. I've been feeling in the past that your jobs were literally beneath you or not right for you or didn't fulfill you, because, Proserpina took a bad, rotten, lemon and turned it into a lemon martini or limoncello or something, right? So you can make powerful progress in overcoming old traumas here as you become like a queen of the heaven, of the underworld, the queen of the underworld on your throne. And I wonder if Siwa, who means alive, you don't want to be alive in your health, fully alive, vitalized. You want to be alive in the work and service you do in the world, to feel, instilled with a life force in the work. And she says, break down the old, bust it down in order to regenerate and rebuild something new. So maybe you have to change your habits around work or health, maybe change the job you've been doing, change your relationship to a home, inviting exciting new changes in home connected to rental properties, as an example, or a pet. But deeper underneath it is something about you in your 6th house of work or health have felt a little bit like a victim of life circumstance, perhaps. And now you can be coming to a wholeness around this, a turning point around this, because you're doing the inner work, the soul work, the moksha work, the liberation work. Sudden change of where you live connected to a work opportunity and an increase of your finances is one way this can play out on a very practical level in the 6 months that follow the moon. In the meantime, the card for you that covers your 2 to 3 weeks after the moon is interesting. It's shapeshift. Oh my goodness. Because this card, Jordanian, Simum, shapeshifter, shift forms, reveal hidden truth, makes me think very much of the 8th house, where you have the Mars and the natural talents and gifts, because shapeshifting is an 8th house story. All right, I'm not going to explain it, but trust me, shamanic energies as well. All the houses of like the 12, 4, 8 are very the shapeshifter, hidden, moving things, for, all the cool stuff, hidden truth. Let's read that for you, okay? Wow, what a card. Shapeshifter, and it's Simun. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but she does have, what do you call it? A phonetic guide here. So I'll tune into the phonetics as well. Simun. Okay, SIM. 49. And the message for you today, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising is oh gosh, it's fierce. It basically, simoon, like the moon, sim moon, no, sim moom, sim moom. Okay, Simum. Simum, shapeshifter, scorching winds, burns away stagnation, ignites change. The ancient desert wind from Jordan, known for its fierce hot gusts, predates humanity, symbolizing primal forces of renewal and purification. A smokeless fire, Simum, carries mysterious sounds, siren like songs and invisible voices and rhythmic pounding of drums that echo through the sands. Holy man, that's important because this is all your hidden houses, the 4, 8, 12 that are active. It reshapes the desert, embodying nature's intense power to cleanse and to transform. So when Simum stirs in your life, it invites you to embrace the heat of change, shed what no longer serves you, Pisces, and face challenges with courage, trusting the elemental forces to guide your transformation, both within and around you. Wow. That is the nature of houses 4, 8, and 12. It is profound transformation through liberation, awakening, and spiritual growth. All right. Now, that's what we've got for you. I usually have a little outro where I chat about some little circumstance going on in my reality that might inspire or tickle your fancy. Sometimes it's just the thing that's most recently on my mind. Did I share this in yesterday's? I think I did. I won't cover that one. Trying to think of a positive story. All right, guys, I'm sitting here like thinking, what can I talk about that's kind of inspiring, interesting, or funny? So, I am born with the asteroid Dionysius on Venus in my Taurus fourth house, asteroid Bacchus in the house of what I put in my mouth on Mars and Pisces. So, Bacchus and Dionysius, the wine gods. And if you go back and you want to get my asteroid course, it's free. It's in my description box. You can find minor asteroids and names like these guys, right? So minor asteroids can be friends, family, names of people you know, places you've been, but also like things like this. And it's been a lifelong love of wine since I can remember, maybe in my 20s. So, and fine wines and wines with dinner and some small wine educations and friends with a sommelier friend who had asteroids, Bacchus and Dionysius on her midheaven, all that kind of stuff. So that's how the asteroids work. That's not what I want to talk about. So I've been talking about the Wine Lover's Middle Way for like 3 years on this channel. I've got the domain. I want to do the book. And then every now and then I hit a cold turkey moment. Like I'm going to stop drinking wine for all of August. And yesterday I was sitting there writing my Substack article, or day before yesterday. I don't remember which, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. And I got an email from Annie Grace. This is going to be a punchline. Annie Grace of This Naked Mind. She's a quit lit writer. She's a pro sobriety and she teaches courses and makes a ton of money on them. And she has basically a rolling enrollment into something called The Path. And if you're interested in a really good book on quit lit, if you have an alcohol problem, read This Naked Mind. It's an excellent book. And, at least gives you an idea of what's really going on the chemistry of the brain and alcohol. But anyway, so then I'm on this, like she's, her email comes in, we're starting August 1st, come jump aboard. And it's like $300 US a month, but I can afford it. I could just do an extra reading a month or something. And I'm going to jump right in there. I'm going to be sober sister. I'm going to be, awesome alcohol-free August. This is my big, feeling on July 31st on the Gazimi. And then it doesn't quite work out that way. Through hook or crook, I had a good bottle of wine in the cupboard or the fridge, and I wasn't going to let that go to waste and all of that stuff. I wasn't extremely motivated. And then last night I was lying in bed. It was last night or yesterday. And one of those random videos popped up on my phone as a YouTube recommendation. And, I always take these as signs, right? The signs are there by what random videos the universe suddenly gives you. And it was a doctor who said why I was wrong about alcohol, I think is the title of his video. And he talks about his medical practice in years and years of being a doctor. And he also works in a hospital. And I think he works in a geriatric ward with all the older people or problems for older people. So he sees a lot of them. And he made the case that what is it with all my 80 and 90-year-olds and they look so freaking great and look really young and they're full of energy that they all drink, that they all say, oh yeah, I have my gin, like Queen Elizabeth, her gin cocktail every afternoon, apparently. He used that as an example. Oh yeah, I have my glass of wine every day. I do this. I do this every single day. It involves one, maybe two glasses of alcohol daily. And then he made the case that all the fear studies about, even one or two drinks is bad for you. It's a toxin, reminding us that humanity's been fermenting, beer, mead, honey, beer, wheat and grains and rye and, wines, fermented grapes into wines forever, for thousands of years. I mean, our sake, so fermented rice, I guess, and tequila, fermented cactuses. We've been fermenting into alcohol things forever. So I would imagine that our human hunter-gatherer biology became a cultivator of the fermented substances, but has some resilience around it. But anyway, I laughed. I sent it to my partner, James, because he knows I'm like all going like cold turkey and for my daily wine habit. In August, I'm still going to pull back for my liver just as a health measure and take a break, like a liver restoration, 6 weeks or something. But I want to share that with you because, you just make a big, bold statement to the universe, and then the universe either pushes back with a temptation, or in this case, a suggestion that it isn't the worst thing in the world. I think I'm always thinking about it from the perspective of, could I be even a better, healthier, older person, rather than I'm particularly having challenges. Every time I get my blood work done, I'm surprised that my liver enzymes are so normal. So I'm just sharing that with you. I just thought it'd be a fun story. Have you ever had a moment of time where you're making this profound decision and you're going to do the thing, and then as soon as you do, you get the symbols that you shouldn't do it? And in fact, I had a enrollment recruitment call to go into a coaching program. I think I mentioned that yesterday's outro, and I always look for signs and symbols, right? Always look for signs and symbols to say yay or nay. And that program that I did years ago, which was taking place in Bali, I had 3 symbols the next day after the recruitment call. And I called back and I signed up. And that was like insanely synchronistic. A friend I went to Bali with calls me and says, I remember our trip to Bali, and sends me a photo. We'd gone a few years earlier. I go by a poster that has to do with the brand of the coach, what she was into. Let's say the brand was effervescent money luck or something. Then the poster said money that bubbles. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a synchronicity. And the third one, I was at my notary public with my then ex-husband now. And we were signing some legal documents, and the notary had all these pins on a board behind his wall, behind his desk. And my husband said, hey, do you have a pin for Bali? And my husband had no idea that I was thinking of taking this coaching program in Bali. So follow the clues. This whole point of the stupid outro is, do you follow synchronistic breadcrumb clues? And do you find that the universe gives you the clues you need even when you don't even ask the question, like random YouTube video pop-ups? Now, don't forget, I know the algorithm could have heard me talking about sobriety or joining a sober program for sobriety and all of that. And yes, but it doesn't give me the one that's all about sobriety. It doesn't give me the AA, channel. No, it gives me this doctor going, it's all overblown. We're overthinking it here, is what he was saying. I don't think it's true that alcohol is that disabling of our bodies. But he also didn't say, he was also saying, yeah, it doesn't mean that you are daily drunk, there's a difference. So anyway, just sharing. I couldn't think what else to talk about. That's a recent story. Hopefully that was of some use. Tell me about your synchronicities. When you ask for them, do you get them to show you the way? Do you get synchronicities that you don't even think you're going to get? And does it influence the direction or approach you take to life? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. This is a long day. I took a long time on this video. This coming out on Sunday, and I'm recording it on Saturday, August 2nd. Bye, everyone.